Hey, everybody, I'm Regina Bryant, and welcome to the Women of Empowered Living. I am so excited for today's show. My guest today is one of the most precious people on the planet. She's a fellow John Maxwell team member, a very active member of this community. And we all know and love her because she's also the queen of all things flowers. I have been waiting to have the ultimate sweet girl on my show, Alice Givens. Welcome. How are you, Alice?
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here with you, and it's so good to see your face. And I know we've tried this a couple of times, and we got to have dinner together, and it's a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to be in this group.
Oh my gosh. And the pleasure today is just all mine. So I see you in your office. So tell us, where are you joining us from? Where in the world is Alice?
I am in Chatham, Louisiana. It is like the middle of nowhere. I would say I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana, which is the northeast corner. And so I'm about 40 minutes south of West Monroe, Louisiana, the
Wow.
home
And
of
I know
Duck
you live,
Dynasty.
and you live on the water, don't you, Alice? I've
I
seen beautiful pictures.
do. We
Okay.
live on Caney Lake.
I'm coming to your house. I know last year we saw each other at Paul's first Christmas party at his new home.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you were so sweet because I had my husband and my stepson with me. And you were like, y'all come see me.
Anytime.
And the three
We
of
have
us
a
were
place
like,
to stay. And I tell Sweet Boy all the time, I'm like, you know, people pay to go on vacation and be at a place like this, and we live here, and we're just so grateful and fortunate, and God is just so good.
I bet you have to pinch yourself sometimes.
I do. It's a great place, and people say, "Oh, I bet you go sit out and drink coffee every morning." And I'm like, I really don't, but I do take the time to try to be out there. You know what I mean? Like, I
It's
love it
gorgeous.
when the weather's beautiful. Oh, it's so nice.
It's such a beautiful place. And when you invited our family, the three of us were driving back to the hotel that night thinking, oh
Yes,
my gosh, we need to take advantage of this. How fast
you
can we get out of
do.
this?
You do.
So you're on my list of places that I want to go in the next 12 months. And your house is on
Well,
that list.
be here. If the boys like to fish, if you like to fish, my sweet boy loves to fish. We'll take you fishing. You'll get some really good food. Louisiana has good food.
you you're one of those people for me, Alice. You come across as someone who's just living a life that you really earned and didn't come easy at first.
No,
And
not at all.
I was joking with you a little bit because I said, oh, she's the queen of all things flowers. I mean, you really are. You've grown this amazing business. Tell us, how did you get into the flower industry? Where did you start?
Oh my goodness. I started at the place where I need a job, and this one came open. So I started as a driver. My boss, Sheila Crow, who I just dearly love, she was my boss. She was in a house church. We were in a house church together. And I went up and applied for the job. I got the job as a driver, 1994. And I remember very vividly, she told me, this is a sink or swim job. And I thought, wow, nobody's ever really said that to me before. So I tell people now I chose not to drown. So she was wonderful. And I was a driver. And then probably within, I'd say, a year, I was a salesperson. I loved going into all the flower shops and going, what do you need today? And you're running out of vases. Can I bring you some more? And it was just, I mean, I am a DI, so I
Yes,
do
you are.
love people. And so I had a great time with that and gotten, to meet people. And within probably 2.5 years, I was manager of the Monroe location. We have a store here in Monroe on Sidden Street. And I worked there, gosh, until about 2010. My boss approached me about purchasing the company. So myself and my partner, which was John Cross. He was out of Tampa. He and his wife moved over, and me and my family moved over, and we bought the company in 2012. So,
So how many
oh,
years were you a part of the company before you were offered this amazing opportunity to purchase?
gosh, since 1994 is when I started,
Okay,
and in 2010 is when we started having the conversation.
that's amazing.
So,
So you learned everything in those what 16 years or so.
well, I would say, yeah, I learned a lot. Now, when I speak to people these days, like from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I knew how to run $1 million business, like from the store as a
Uh-huh.
manager. However, I didn't know how to run, a $15 million business because I didn't know, like from the corporate standpoint, it is a total different atmosphere. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's a whole different scene when you're
Well,
behind the scenes, crunching the numbers. I
mhm.
physically knew how to do it, and I guess I mentally did too because I did manage the store. But when you go like to a corporate, it's really crunching numbers.
Because
It's
you were owning,
quiet
because you went from managing and running a store, and you said that was about $1 million business of the
business. Yeah, yeah.
and then you went to ownership. So how many were you just owning that store, or did you and your business partner own several? How many did you own?
We took over the company. So we bought the whole company. We bought assets, we bought all of the inventory, and basically my boss became real estate. So I rented the stores from her then. It was a retirement plan. So so we bought the business at that point. And when we did, just knowing it from a corporate standpoint, like I had never been in corporate my whole life. Like physically, I could unload a truck, I
Mhm.
could grab some flowers, we get on the phone and or people would call in and say, "Oh my gosh, there's like 2 funerals or 5 birthday parties or 2 weddings and what do you have in blue? What do you have in pink?" And I told people it was my little emergency room. And sometimes, we need a hug and sometimes we need a band-aid. And so, but then when you go to corporate, it's it wasn't my cup of tea because it's very, very quiet. Um,
So
Clearly not that.
what led you to say, yes, I'll buy? Did you see it as like a long-term legacy thing where you could
I
really
did. Yeah.
provide security for yourself and your family?
Yes. I saw it. Okay. When she talked to me about it, I did feel unworthy because I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" But the more we talked about it, the more I was like, I can do this. I can do this. Hence, I'm a Paul Martinelli graduate, but I didn't meet him until I took over the company. But, yeah, it just felt like the next natural step. I've managed the store for this long. I know all the team, like I knew
Right,
everybody, but I went from probably 7 people, I can manage 7 people
right.
to 160.
And
And
so
it's totally different.
what were those early challenges? Did you have leadership challenges, your own mindset challenges, personnel challenges? What were you grappling with the most transitioning
Um,
to owning the company?
well, for one, leadership, just changing that stance to you're one of the guys to you're not one of the guys. Um, it would be like, well, hey, you're one of us, you're one of us. And she mentored me a lot through that. She was like, you're not in that place anymore. It's different. And that was hard for me because I want people to like me. And I wanted to, I felt like if you do oh, what's the strengths, strategic's my number one and responsibility is my number two. So I put a lot of responsibility on myself. I would say from a leadership perspective, just making that switch,
Mhm.
it's not overnight. Some
No.
people are happy for you, some people are not happy for you. They, they're asking themselves, why didn't I get this opportunity? Or, why did you get that opportunity? So it was difficult. And
So
in that process,
you had some people issues, not just employees, but in terms of, you hate to think about jealousy, but you ran into that too, didn't you?
of course, yes. And I think you do. And I think people can't help it. You say, oh, don't judge, or don't be, well, that's the first thing you do, because they're asking themselves the question, like, why is it her? Well, why is it not me? Or it's change. People they don't embrace that. We say that we do, but you really don't.
It's difficult. So at what point did you reach out for more help? Because I know you're a John Maxwell team member like myself. So how
Yeah.
did you make that jump? Like, I'm an owner of this business, and then
Yeah.
you found and joined John Maxwell team and found Paul.
Yeah. So I got this beautiful email, and just a little thought of the day. And so I'm like, oh, this is great. Minute with Maxwell. I think it was a thought before it was a minute, but it was a thought. And then it would come up, and I thought, you know, if we just had him, he could fix all the people and all of our worries would go away, right? And so I was like, I talked to my partner, and I was like, we really should do this. Well, he wasn't too much into it, but it was like, I love this stuff. So I'm like, yeah. So I joined the John Maxwell team. It was in 2000 and I think August of 15.
Was that your
And
first IMC?
yes, I
I
joined in
was that
April, and then
IMC.
yeah, my first IMC was, and I never missed. I think I missed one, but anyway, it was just very easy. We were in Jacksonville. It was super easy to run over to Orlando. Plus, we had a store there, so it was great. And so I joined the John Maxwell team, and I remember, like, I loved it. I loved the people, and then you just kind of, it's like going to college of like growth, and you
Right.
pick any class you want. Like, if you could just go to church and go, what do I want to hear about? Do I want to hear Ephesians? Do I want to hear? Well, I want to hear it all. But what speaks to me? Paul spoke to me. I just hang on to every word he said. And being a high school dropout, that was his deal.
Yeah.
Like, we connect.
So it was an instant connection when you heard his story, I'm sure.
Right then. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I can do this. I'm not worthy, all the things. And I loved listening to him. So now I think when I really, really was sold out, like I did designing
Designing
your
your
empowered life.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And then I did the designing your empowered business. I did that business. Yeah. So I meet you there.
We met. We were just talking about that. That was, I think, our first real meeting was when we had the 2-day live event for designing your, building your empowered business.
Yep, building.
2019, we, small group, there were like, what, Alice, less than 30 of us in the room.
It was so good.
Wasn't
it was so powerful.
This little, small, nice, beautiful room at the Grand Wyndham in Jupiter. And you and I sat at the same table. Andy Hall was at our table.
Yep.
And Thomas Miller was at our table. We
Precious
were
Lamb. Yes.
front and center with Paul in this small group. And that was, I think, the first time that I had been in a small group with Paul.
So good.
And I got to know you a little bit. And I knew at that point, I'm like, okay, this is a serious business lady. Like, she's building a flower empire. So what did all that do for you? Like, you connect with the John Maxwell team, you really connect with Paul. How did that grow you personally and your business?
Well, my partner in 2017 retired. Okay. So December 18th, 2017, he retires. He was 17 years my senior, which I praise God for that all the time. We had a fantastic relationship. I don't know if it was because he was my senior so much that, he just, I mean, he never said, do you think that's crazy? Like, you just need to calm down. Like, he would just be like, I don't know. How do you feel? Do you want to just do it? Let's do it. And he would really support me and back me on a lot of things. And we never had any disagreements, anything like that. So it was
Wow.
beautiful. But he wanted to retire. And I remember I went to a Turning Point in Atlanta. And this story is so funny. Holly was there. And so I asked her, I said, this was Designing Your Empowered Life,
Mhm.
the year program. Okay.
Yep.
Started this program. And then in the middle of that, or some months in, he had a Turning Point.
Mhm.
So I go to Turning Point. Now I've not been around him at all. Like at this point, like this is
What
like,
year
I am
was this Turning Point, Alice? Was this 2019 Turning Point?
this would have been, no. This would have been the same year, 17. Okay. Yeah. First year. And I remember being like I was live there. Like I had been in, John Maxwell and doing all the things, but like Turning Point was a little more intimate, little
Mhm.
smaller group. To me, I met so many of my super awesome friends
Oh.
through those little venues. But anyway, Holly was there and I said, do you know if Paul is still coaching people? Like, duh, I'm his assistant. And so I said, yeah. And I mean, I didn't know what to say. And she was like, yeah, he is. And I was like, oh, great. So I'm sitting in the group and we're at break and he's just standing there at the podium. And I just walk up to him. Hi, my name is Alice Givens. And I said, I am in your Designing Your Empowered Life group. Phenomenal group. Thank you for everything I've learned there. So beautiful. I said, but I just wanted to tell you that when my partner retires, you are going to be my personal coach. Like you're going to be my reward. And he
I
was
love
like,
that.
Paul, right on. And I turned around and I was like, he doesn't believe anything. And so that was in November. I'll never forget it. And then January, I'm sitting in my office and I'm like, you said when this happened, you were going to. So I sent an email, at paulmartinelli.net. Okay. Because we don't want to get the real dude. Yeah. I sent it to him and I'm like, hey, and I copied Holly. And I said, hey, I just wanted to, this is Alice, and I just wanted to, I said, hey, you may not remember me, but I was at Turning Point, this and this. And I said, according to my written notes, you're supposed to coach me this year. Have a great day. And sent. And I went, I can't believe I just did that. And I did. And do you know that March of 18 is when he started to personally coach me. And I've this year I'll do my 3rd vision retreat with him. And I'm telling you, I can set my goals out there in front and I know where I'm going and I don't beat myself up and I keep charging forward. Like one of my goals is I'm going to make, I have no idea what just happened. Okay, I hope we edit that. I don't know what happened. But I will tell you that I put my goals out there and in my mind, he challenges me to go for them, but to make things welcome. Like when something shows up, you know what we say? Hello, I've been waiting for you. Welcome. What are you here to teach me? And I am so invigorated by that. Like one of my goals, and I told him this, we did our first vision retreat in Costa Rica.
Come on now. Come on.
Let's do it. Yep. And let me tell you something. I told him then, I want to make 15 people a millionaire.
That is one of the coolest things that I've ever heard, Alice. And when you were in Atlanta just a few months ago and you and I got together and oh my God, it was amazing. We got to sit down and have dinner together. And you said that to me. And I remember driving home thinking about that was your goal. how does it feel to set a goal like that? Like,
It's very audacious. It's big,
it is.
but in groups like we are in Empowered Living, that you're going to meet a collaborative group, a collaborative person. You're going to go and to grow together. I never dreamed that I would know somebody in Costa Rica. How many people? I mean, Marissa, she's got a place because she has a house there.
Right.
Like, Christian Simpson, we have the world just kind of, it gets so small, but it's so big. And so I feel like in putting that goal out there in front of myself, how it'll happen, I don't know. When it will happen, I'm not sure. However, I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, as things show up in my life, this could be it. This could be it. And I think that helps me not to get scared and go, why is this happening? I don't know. Like, we went through COVID, and 2020 for my company was our biggest year. Like, we broke all of our records. Yes. And
talk to us about that. How did you guys in the floral industry during a pandemic have a record-breaking year?
Let me tell you something. My controller tells me because we didn't close. We didn't shut down. We were very mindful that people are sick. We were very mindful that people are dying. And some people will say, oh, well, you just sold a lot of flowers because there were a lot of funerals. I mean, and we know this. However, funerals only allowed like 6 people. It was not because of funerals. I think
that's a great point. I didn't even consider that. You're right. Funerals were no longer 50, 75, 100 people. You're right.
No, there wasn't even 10. And at that point, people were even having to be like, take a number, like for cremation and things like that, because it just, no one ever knew this was coming.
Nope.
But to me, we look at it and I mean, I had some fellow wholesalers that closed, and I think in everybody's mind, maybe part of them thought, oh, it's going to be like a snow day or like a rainy day recess kind of thing. Well, it wasn't that way. And it just lasted on and on. But I feel like because we couldn't travel, okay. I think because maybe if I couldn't get my hands on my mama, I could send her something. And so all of these people got so excited and we got so creative about, I saw one florist that had a ding dong dash. And so like she would run up there and ring the doorbell and set the arrangement there. And like, then people could let it, sit there for a minute, or maybe no germs would attach. I don't know. But I will tell you this, in creating the energy of not being the Great Depression, and I know that we've never lived through that, and that would probably be the closest thing that's ever been that, because we lost loved ones and people were afraid. And for us to say, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. There's no more than 10 people in my store ever at one time, unless it's a show. So we want to have a show. If you'd like, Regina, I will let you, I'll have your order ready. I'll put it outside for you. You can slide your check through the door, whatever you want to do.
Right.
We'll make it work.
You made it easy. You made it easy for people to still be able to purchase flowers because, and you said this at our dinner in Atlanta. When you came and we had dinner, you said flowers are tied to every emotion.
Yes.
That was something else you said besides your goal of 15 millionaires that I've never forgotten that you said, Alice. Oh. And I thought that is so incredible. And I think it's because of that spirit, you were able to make this easy for people. And how can we serve? How can we still add value during COVID? Just the floral industry, we'll just go ahead and shut down for a couple of weeks. And none of us knew that a couple of weeks turned into still trying to get our lives sorted in certain parts of the country.
Exactly right.
In certain industries.
Yeah, and some of our vendors, they were so gracious. They said, "Hey, we're just going to send you a bunch of flowers." And so they would just send them. So we were giving things to people, and I mean, it was really difficult, but to me, being surrounded by your team and leading them in a place where they are really scared. They're really scared. I know Robin, you know Robin, she's our precious
Yes,
lamb.
love Robin.
She told me, she said, she said the very next Monday, or I guess the next day when she went to work, she said, I remember feeling so grateful. She was living with her sister. Her sister was a hairdresser. That shut down, period. And she said, she remember coming home one day and she was on the couch or something, and she just thought, oh, praise God, I have a job I can go to. And she never lost that thankfulness and that gratefulness. And I'll tell you, when you lead people in something as flowers, we deal with people who have lost loved ones. We deal with people, as I said, they are touched every emotion from birth until you go to Jesus. I'm telling you right now, there's flowers tied to that. Flowers create a feeling. They solve a problem. Ask anybody that's ever been in the doghouse. You know what I mean? They solve a problem. But it's an energy evolution like that.
You're right.
I think that we can do that versus, some flowers are known as funeral flowers. Some are known as happy. You see them, they come in trends. But I do love starting that evolution. You know what we do with the money trees? Paul said, oh, we're going to name these babies. We're going to talk to them. Hey, this is 2.2. Regina, say hi to 2.2.
I thought it was brilliant the way you sort of kind of partnered up with Paul for that last PAGR study, and everybody was posting pictures of their money trees on our Facebook page, and it was really powerful.
Very
and
powerful.
when you talk about being in an industry that is tied to every emotion, I mean, that's just the truth. Just about a month, maybe it's been a little bit longer than that, I received flowers. Gentleman comes to my door holding a beautiful arrangement. I just start crying. I was touched and surprised. And it was my friends, Paul, Holly, the team at Empowered Living, wishing me a happy 1-year anniversary on this show. And when those flowers showed up out of the blue, I'm making lunch in my kitchen. Doorbell rings. I look out the door. I think I see a man holding something pretty. So I open the door and I just start sobbing. And it's that emotion. And you're right. I can remember from funerals burying my own father many years ago, and the flowers were showing up and how they touched our family. And you're in that business. You're a leader in that.
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. It holds the energy, like you got the arrangement. Paul was thinking of you. The whole team was thinking of you. When you see that, all of that goes through your mind. You hear women say, "Oh, don't send me that. It's going to be dead in a few days and all this stuff." And I'm like, no. I've never ever seen a woman that gets a beautiful bouquet of flowers that says, "Oh, he's going to get it." Not ever.
Or take those away. I don't want those.
No. Or throw them in the floor. No. And plus, it creates that energy for everybody else. When have you been in an office and you're like, "Excuse me, are those for me?"
Right.
And then they don't come to you. You're like, then you go home. You're like, "Well, such and such got flowers today at work."
It is so emotional on so many levels. And until our dinner, and you said that phrase, I don't know if I quite thought about it that way. That was like a new sort of revelation to me, that sometimes we just think we're in a business, but it's really deeper and more than that.
When you love what you do, it loves you back. And it's so obvious, like you on this show. I mean, you can tell it oozes out of you. You love what you're doing. You just want to tell the world about all these great empowered women. And we get to talk to an empowered lady. I love this. So that's part of all of the energy. You have flowers in your background.
Yes, I do.
That
When
for
they
me.
made the background, when the graphic designer who was working with the team at the time, when she made this background, it was flowers, and I thought, I don't care what you do. She's like, do you have any preferences? No, not really, just whatever you want to do. And I saw this, and it made me happy because it was
It
flowers.
does.
And
That's right.
Alice, seeing you makes me happy. Seeing you
Likewise,
makes
my
me.
friend. Yes.
So I'm going to ask you one final question.
Mhm.
What does an empowered life mean to you? You, sweet boy, your whole world there.
Yeah. An empowered life to me is being able to do what I love. And people call it work or whatever. Yes, it is work. But being able to do what I love and being able to be my own boss, to empower my people. I was reading a thing about golden handcuffs, and I was talking to Barbara Britt about it. And I had a dream, and I dreamed I was probably talking to you, but I was talking to someone, and I said, well, I don't want golden handcuffs. I want people to want to be there. I don't want to trap you from going after your dream. I want you to be empowered to go after that dream. So empowered living to me is being surrounded by people who love what they do. We are surrounded by just these beautiful flowers that we have to care back for. I mean, so we have to take care of them and they take care of us. So I love what I do, and I hope that it shows, and I hope that I can extend that energy to other people and to inspire them to go after what it is you want. If you want to write a book, go girl, write a book. If you want to babysit kids all day, like go, you rock it out. So
Oh my gosh. You do you. That's an
yes,
empowered life.
yes, but
Alice,
that's an empowered life. It really is. I can say yes a lot more. I don't feel like I have to worry and be concerned. I feel like I can help others more, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I approach that like the time Paul talked about signing all of his CDs. Remember
uh-huh.
that?
I remember that story.
Like, okay, wait a minute. I asked for this. So if I asked for this, I have to receive it in that great energy. And then I have to release great energy.
Oh my gosh, you do nothing but release great energy. Alice, every time I see your face, I see your name, you make me smile. I am blessed to know you.
I am very blessed to know you too, my friend. And I can't wait to see you soon.
We will see each other very soon. Thanks so much for being on the show, Alice.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everybody for watching, and take care until next time. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.